everybody, and welcome to this Brexpats in Spain video. It's not on specific subjects. We are here to discuss the current situation and what we think is going to happen in the future. And I'm very pleased to say that we have with us today John, who covers the Valencia region, and the president of Brexpats in Spain, who covers the southern region, and Chris, who covers the Canary Islands to assist people. And then there's, of course, myself, Richard, and I sort of look after the Valencia, Almeria, and Murcia regions. So this is Brexpats in Spain. This is our team. There are others. We have people in the Balearics and in Valencia City as well to assist people. If you need help, at the end of this video, you will find full details of how to contact us and how to get that help. I'll pass it now to Anne, our president, to say a few words.
Yeah, hi everybody. As you can see, it's a rather windy Costa del Sol at the moment. I don't always look as as blown away as this. Apologies for that. But again, it is quite a windy day. It's also a wintry day, and unfortunately, a lot of people are getting ill, not just with COVID, but also with the winter colds and flus, etc. So let's not all be that concerned if we just get a bit of a tickly sore throat or something. You know, it doesn't mean you've got to rush off and be tested for COVID. Though if you do, obviously you need to stay indoors for 14 days, and let's hope that your symptoms don't get worse. If they do, then you need medical help. But I mean, we've sort of morphed from being an association, a legally constituted association in Spain, to helping with Brexit, to now being sort of the experts on COVID. And we keep being asked all sorts of questions. We're not experts on COVID by any stretch of the imagination. We are rather more the experts on Brexit. Hence, we have wonderful collaboration and links with all of the town halls, with the British Embassy, with the consulate. Obviously, pre the 31st of December, the end of the transition period, we had links with the EU, which not so much now, I must be truthful, though I still do have conversations with them. And sadly, the United Kingdom really have just cast us aside. We are on our own. There's very little support or help otherwise from anybody. Apart from Spain, which we're not Spain's responsibility in part, but that's the reason that we've got guys like Chris and John here and others to help all of you throughout all of Spain and the islands. I mean, what can I say? We are going to progress to sort of the one-stop shop. So anything you need, any help you need, please contact us in the first instance, because our sponsors are giving some wonderful deals, discounts, etc., and pennies count more than anything at the moment. I don't know what else you want me to say, Richard. I think
that's fine, Anne. Thank you very much.
You're more than welcome.
John.
Hi everybody, my name is John Kieldias and I'm part of the Valencia part of Brexpats in Spain.
Sorry, that's the cat.
I collaborate very closely with both Anne and Richard, and I'm obviously here to help anybody within that region. My expertise is particularly in Alicante more than Valencia. And I know their processes inside out and backwards. So any help you need at any time, just contact Richard Hill and he will pass the details on to me for that assistance that you may require.
Thank you, John. Chris.
Hi, I'm Christopher Rush Hernandez. I've lived in Tenerife 13 years now. I'm obviously, we have a very big community, English community here, and there are so many rumors on what needs to be done, how it needs to be done, and it's always nice to have somebody that is keeping up to date with what's going on and the rules and regs. And when I get so many people emailing me daily, you know, I've been told this, I've been told that, but there's so much misinformation, and it's just good for somebody like Brexpats to actually be able to turn to, because like I say, you know, people have been told they have to change now, they have to do this. There's banks also saying that they need to now have the T card. But it's just good for people to have somebody in the area. And obviously, as we're in the islands, and I'm obviously just in Tenerife, but anybody that ever needs any help, you know, if they want things, a bit of clarity on what is actually going on, it's anybody can always turn to me. And Richard, if you can pass my details, anybody want anything or anything, any queries or inquiries from anybody here in Tenerife, I'm always willing to help. Also, coming back to the appointments as well, it's really difficult. And I always say to people, I will try my best to get appointments, particularly in the south where the majority of the people live. But it's at the minute, it's really difficult to get any appointments here in the south of Tenerife at the minute.
Brilliant, thank you. Actually, let's just pick that point straight up. Go ahead,
Yeah, I was just going to say, can I add to that? It's thanks to so-called professionals that perhaps we exist, because we started from day one as being factual and truth-mongering, which I've been accused so many times of scaremongering. It's all coming around to bite them in the bum now, I'm afraid. And a lot of people still have their heads buried in the sand, particularly with the TIE, particularly with driving licenses. They're now saying to me, well, nobody told me, my solicitor never told me I needed to register my intention to exchange my driving license before the end of the year. What do I do? Can you exchange it for me? Well, no, you have until the end of June to drive. And unless Spain comes up with another allowance for us special Brits, in inverted commas, which we're obviously not, we're just third country nationals, then I'm sorry, but they will have to take a Spanish driving test.
Brilliant. Okay, yes, you're absolutely right, Anne. Let's go back on this TIE situation. What are the experiences everywhere on trying to get appointments at the moment? John?
Okay, so specific to Alicante rather than Valencia as a whole region, in the Alicante area, the appointments have been restricted and are limited by a booking process. There is a strict booking process that has been put in place to eliminate people potentially grab holding big amounts of the appointments in the Alicante area. It restricts by both VPN, by phone number, and by email address. So any one of those combinations, after you've booked 4 appointments, it will stop you booking any more on any combination of those particular items. And it will come up indicating there are no further appointments. With regards to the appointments in the Alicante area, they're released approximately, give or take, every 15 days. So if you are looking now to book an appointment, for example, for March, the beginning of March, the first 2 weeks of March will be released approximately at the very end of February, give or take 2 or 3 days. There's no rhyme or reason or pattern to it, but it's always roughly 3 days before the end of the month for the beginning of the following month. Then, for the rest of March, you would be looking to book an appointment between, say, the 13th to the 15th sorry, I've just lost my train of thought there, of that month, ready for the end of March. So it would be the 13th to the 15th of March for the rest of that month that they will release them. What people also need to be aware of, there are no set times for release. People, you will see on the internet, they're released at 9 AM on that particular day. That doesn't always happen. It can be quite random. It can be the afternoon when they release them, and it can also be a Sunday. The only advice I can give people is you need to keep trying based on the criteria I've just given you, because at the moment that is the pattern.
Brilliant, John, thank you. Chris, what have you, what's your experience on this?
Yeah, I think over here, really, they're not actually overly inundated in terms of people getting appointments or wanting appointments. And like from my point of view, when I get asked, like I say, in the south of the island, in the Las Americas police station, there is nothing. Trying to get an appointment there is like gold dust. Sometimes they release appointments on a Friday if there's any cancellations and things in Las Americas. Like I was saying earlier, that what I've been tending to do, because there is a lot more appointments in Puerto de la Cruz now. Obviously, it's a drive. It's a 1 hour 50-minute drive from here in the south. But the efficiency up there is absolutely amazing. There's never any queues. Every appointment I've been to up there, you're in before your appointment time. And now I've just booked some appointments yesterday, and they're for Monday. So there are, it is quite good up there, and the efficiency is absolutely amazing. But like I say, here in the south, it is extremely difficult to get anything. If you log on a Friday, and you may get the odd slot, but anything otherwise.
Okay, thank you for that, Chris. And how is it down south?
Yeah, down here, it's much the same, to be honest. I mean, never mind that a lot of the municipios, the municipalities, are locked down. So if you're an interpreter or something, you cannot travel with them unless you're doing it as a self-employed person, with an exception to being undertaking your work. Unfortunately, they then have to go on their own, which is not always the happiest, because all along, and I'm sure the other two guys are saying, we will see them through holding their hand to the very end until they've got that card in their hand. We don't just sort of abandon them when they've got their resolution letter and say, well, that's it, happy days, off you go, make yourself an appointment, because the rest of it is still quite stressful for a lot of people, particularly if they don't understand the language and the forms have to be filled, etc. I mean, I had to do it on the telephone the other day with a lady, and it was over an hour trying to get an EX23 and the Modelo 790 completed, because it kept coming out with the wrong information, then she was missing the date, etc., etc. So it's not as simple as just saying, go away and do it for yourself.
There's a couple of things there. First, I'll quickly mention Murcia and Almeria, because I do know what's going on there, and it's the same. So it's right across Spain. That's the issue there. On the issue of getting appointments, it sort of brings us on to the issue of people who want to exchange their TIE. Now, I'm going to put forward my view on this, and then I'll put it to the panel. But there is no requirement, and I wish to stress that, no requirement to change your existing residencia for a TIE. And that's a bottom line. However, we have been hearing of issues where people want to cross borders, particularly UK to Spain, Spain to UK, where the bureaucracy has got a little bit difficult if you've got an existing residencia document versus a TIE. So what I would say to people is, don't clutter things up at the moment. There is no need to change your TIE. But if you are thinking of going to the UK or similar, it might be an idea to get the TIE, because it will make your life easier. John, do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I think the main thing I would add to that, yeah, absolutely right. The main message is still, it's not obligatory to change it, with the exception of one thing. If you have changed your address since you originally had your residencia document and you have the green SUE, it is a requirement for you to change that in Spain so that your correct address is registered against your residencia document.
Explain the SUE. That's not a term I understand down here.
Okay, so the SUE is either the small green credit card size residencia, as everybody calls it, or the A4 paper.
Okay, thank you. I mean, the only true residencia is the TIE, let's be honest. I just call the others a green residency. Yes. Okay.
Chris, do you agree with that or not?
Yeah, I completely agree, and I've been trying to explain to people, and again, the misinformation that's been going around is, oh, you can't do this because you've not got the T card. And one thing I will say, because last week when I went up to the Ayuntamiento de Arona, they had not, the lady went away for 20 minutes. She'd never seen a T, the Brexit T card in her life. She went to show it to the whole office. She then took a photocopy of it and said, do you mind if I put it on the staff notice board so the staff can know what it looks like?
I read your comment, yeah. A star. There we go, Chris.
Anne, have you got any comment on that?
No, in much the same way. No, exactly. I mean, yes, there's a lot of confusion. Don't be, I've done that many reports on it, and they can all be found in our topics in the main Brexpats in Spain Facebook site. That the Spanish will refer to a NIE, an NIE. What they're asking for is our, whatever you might want to call it, green residency or our TIE. They don't just want, they want the number, basically. That is all they're concerned about. What is your NIE? You don't have to show them it. You don't have to pass it over. You just give them the number, you know? And I mean, it is a little bit difficult because what they call a NIE for us is something quite different. For what they call a residencia, we call a residencia, is actually not a residencia, as I've just said with John. The only residencia is the third country national one, which is the TIE. Yeah. But things have changed, unfortunately. We are third country nationals. We're not EU citizens anymore, and we have to comply with what is required to live in this wonderful country.
Yeah, yeah. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, it just wanted to mention as well, this particularly affects the islands, the Balearics and the Canaries. And when I went up to the council last week, I actually asked to, because I'm not sure if you're all aware, we get a certificado de viaje, which allows residents of the islands to get a discount on travel within Spain. And they are now, when I spoke to the lady, it is we can still get the discount, but the tier card must state permanente on it. So any tiers that like the temporal ones,
The new ones,
we are no longer entitled to the discount unless it says permanente on it. So that's just a bit of information for.
So until 5 years, you wouldn't get that.
No.
Okay.
Another benefit of Brexit.
Or another benefit of keeping the old one.
Yeah, let's move on now. Following on from that, because it's quite a logical step, and it's also not going to be an easy one. Many people went back to the UK, or quite a few people went back to the UK at Christmas. Some with residencia appointments, TIE appointments in hand, and we are aware of the issues facing them. The current situation, we are told, if you are in possession of a TIE or a valid residencia, the green sheet or the green card, you can still get back into Spain. If you haven't got that, you can't. And yet we are hearing of people who say they can. It's a difficult situation. Anne, go ahead.
Yeah, I spent 2 weekends working on this with the British Embassy, Richard. Between the 7th and the 14th, I've forgotten what it was now, whatever date it was, 4th and the 11th, they gave us a 7-day window, January, to get back if you only had the letter of resolution, positive letter, obviously not negative, meaning that you had been accepted to apply for your TIE, because the first step, it's now a 3-step process, never used to be. The first step is apply for it through the Foreign Office. The second step is go down and do your EX23, which is the presenting of your photo and your fingerprints, etc., and the other 2 documents. And then the third step is go back and collect it, which have to be done in person. The first step can be done online. But yeah, they gave us a window of 7 days.
Yeah, one of the things that I've just to close this up, this sector, one of the things that we don't know, and I'm sorry about this, we don't know what Spain is going to do about any extensions, if they give any extensions, if they allow people to have missed appointments because they can't. There is no information at the moment. I can tell you that Anne and I are in consultation with the British Embassy and the consulates over it, and they don't have an answer at the moment. So that's a difficult one, and it's going to have to remain in abeyance, I'm afraid.
I do think, Richard, they'll offer a certain amount of leeway, though, because they know it's not always that individual applicant's fault that they can't get an appointment within the 30 days from receiving the letter of resolution.
Just a point, basically on the asylum cases, especially in the Canary Islands, they've been really lenient with the timing, because I don't know if you've ever seen the Tarjeta Roja, what is given as an international protection document. And a lot of people, because of the quarantines and different things that's been going on, they've not been able to renew their documents. So even they've had an invalid document, and obviously they still have permission to work. And quite a few people was taken off from sent home from work. But now the police here are actually extending the period that they're allowed. So I presume that kind of thing probably will come about, for Brits wanting to change over.
Okay, we've only got a few minutes left. So what I'm going to do now is pass it round to each of you individually so as you can tell people what you and what Brexpats in Spain can do for people in your area. If you can keep it as brief as possible, please. First to Anne.
Me, I can do anything. I'm wonderful. Anything you need, any advice you need or help. If I can't personally do it, obviously, I'm not legally qualified. We have the experts who are tried and tested, proven to us, to be worth their weight in gold. and we will put you in touch with them. Obviously, there's no commission on our behalf, let's say. We just, we're doing it out of the goodness of our heart. Obviously, if we do work for you ourselves, as to the other guys as well, then they will have to charge, because they've got expenses to cover.
Okay, Anne, thank you for that. Round to you, John.
So in the Alicante area, I can assist with most things. The only areas I don't touch is legal, vehicle registration, and the other thing that I wouldn't be touching would be taxes. I don't get involved in any financial tax areas, purely because I see those 3 areas as quite specialist.
Brilliant. Yes, that's very true. We've got people who are specialists in currency, investment, wills, law, tax, all within the Brexpats framework. But of course, they are professionals and they will charge. But they are trusted professionals who have worked with us, some of them for up to 4 years. We know.
Can I just add to that, Richard? Let me just add to that. They are also people that, because we are a collective of approximately 20,000 members now, they are offering extremely special deals to us, whether it's by discount or by appointments, etc. So they will be probably the best people to talk to than just an unknown, so to speak, and we can recommend you to those. Thank you,
Anne. Chris, have you got anything to add to this?
Yeah, basically it's similar to John, really. Basic information. A lot of people, especially that there are, there's certain age groups that don't tend to be Facebook warriors, if you like, and they don't tend to understand the information that what is out there, and they're listening to so and so in the local pub, and then it's Chinese whispered, and it comes out to something else. And it's, again, I'm available to give any advice. I'm the same as John. I don't touch legal side. I do know people in the legal profession, and like with Brexpats, it's a really good point of information, and what the resources that Brexpat has to help people, like you say, the contacts that the group has. But myself, I'm always here to help. Any advice, like with TAs, anything that is with the municipalities and things like that.
Brilliant, Chris. Thank you. I'd like to just put a few words on top of this. We've been doing this for 4 years, working on the ground. There are other groups that dealt with the Brexit, who tend to work at a political level or whatever. But we've been working on the ground with people trying to help them. And one of the things that we have stressed from day one is that when we help somebody, we take it from the start to the finish. There are now many other groups, 3 that I can think of, that are, I'm trying to phrase this carefully, that are officially sanctioned, that generally speaking, choose what they want to do. They may give you help with advice, they may give you help with the paperwork, but generally speaking, they don't hold your hand right the way through the process. We do, and we pride ourselves on doing that. Yes, Anne, we're running out of time.
Yeah, no, so I just want to add to that, Richard. Some of those groups will take them as far as a rejection letter and then need an appeal, and they will say, go and find yourself a solicitor who can help you with this. We don't do that. We will still be there with them. We will have the solicitor on board with the experience, with the professionalism to see them through to completion.
Absolutely. And that probably is the difference between us and these other groups. John, go ahead.
I was just going to add to what Anne said there, and I've actually done that with 2 of my own cases, and I've referred it on to the relevant expertise lawyer that will resolve those issues.
One of the things that has come up recently is that a lot of people now are talking about family reunification. I'm not going to go into that today. And marriages from different countries, Ukrainian married to a British person, etc. These are complicated issues, and certainly in the Alicante region, we have a specialist immigration lawyer that we work with, who, as soon as we get something like this, and I'm sure John will concur with this, we pass it straight on to them. We look at these things and put you with the right people at the right time, at the right place, exactly as Anne said. Sometimes the expertise doesn't exist within Brexpats in Spain, but we know a man who can. The AA principle, if anybody remembers the ad. Right, to close up then, at the end of this video, you will find all the contact details, together with a rough list of what we can do to help you. That's what we're here for. Brexpats in Spain is going to be continuing. It certainly is going to be continuing what we're doing for this year. And you may see some changes coming up, because it is clear to us that the British people in Spain need a voice. And I can tell you that discussions are underway at this time, how we're going to facilitate that for you. It is something that Brexpats in Spain has been providing from day one of this debacle, a voice for you. And that voice now must continue now Brexit has happened. So we will be looking at it and we will be keeping you informed. I'll pass you quickly round. There's just a minute left for people to say cheerio. Anne, you first.
Yeah, no, I'd just like to echo that. Yes, we are going to have to evolve into something, as I've already mentioned, a one-stop shop. But since we've been stripped of all of our identity, as I see it, we need some sort of political representation. And I think that's perhaps the route we need to be looking at, because we do need a voice, basically. I mean, yeah, I'm gobby enough at the best of times, but I'm not the voice of everybody, if you know what I mean. So yeah, so watch this space. We'll continue doing exactly as we do now and more, and possibly taking a second sort of side to us. But we're not changing what we've always existed to be. And all I can say is thank you very much to Richard for setting up this video. There will be more. Hopefully there'll be live links that you can come on board and talk to our experts as well. This has purely just been informative to introduce us, and Richard's waving at me, so thank you very much.
Thank you. John, very quickly, got only seconds.
Thanks to everybody for joining us today, and we look forward to being there to support you in any of your needs.
Thank you, John. Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much.